There are so many people rightfully upset about the stimulus package. $600 for individual Americans, while the foreign aid is just through the roof. And I understand that. I really do. But as someone who's paid attention to the process and, has known how a bill becomes law for the majority of his life, this isn't new. This is another day that ends in Y. I'll put it to you like that because almost every piece of legislation that gets through has if we're talking at the federal level, a congressman or a senator who's like, I won't sign unless this piece of pork is added to it, and I have five caucuses behind me. And so the originator of the bill writes it on, and then you got and just magnify that like times 10 for each and every senator. And the next thing you know, by the time it gets to to Congress, through Congress and through the Senate and on its way to the president's desk, it's something that doesn't even resemble what the intent of the bill is supposed to be. And this is a process that we've seen play out time and time and time and time again. So to feign, surprise or or impotent rage or anger at this situation, I feel it's useless. It's useless. And if there's anything this channel is about, it's being useful. It's a big part of the reason this is that's the backdrop. This story is the backdrop to this conversation. Coming to us from the New York Post, drug overdoses skyrocketing in U.S. with over 81,000 deaths per the CDC. This is written by Elizabeth Elisdale? Azalde. I want to say Azalde. Drug overdose deaths have substantially increased in the U.S. and set a new record for fatalities in the year ending in May, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention announced. Any guesses as to why there is a spike in drug overdoses? Maybe it might have something to do with people being locked into their homes and being fear-mongered into a space where they're concerned and they're scared, and so thusly they're taking more drugs, and you know it not ending well for them. The CDC's Health Alert Network released a report Thursday saying that 81,230 drug overdose deaths occurred during that time, starting in June 2019. This represents a worsening of the drug overdose epidemic in the United States and is the largest number of drug overdoses for a 12-month period ever recorded, the agency said. Yeah, because we are literally living in unprecedented times. This is the unforeseen consequences of shutting down society for the most part, and really being able to use the media. That I'm telling you, that Telecommunications Act that was signed in the 90s, it solidified it solidified and codified the media's grasp and the amount of hands that can control the narrative and can control how people think, and to a point where you have I think it was Jake Tapper or one of the Cuomo's on CNN talking about how, yeah, anything you get, you got to get from us. You got to learn it from us, because if you don't learn it directly from us, then guess what? It's not true. And that's it. And so thusly, when you have people who over the past 30 years have really sunk into that mindset, when these exact same people come and bring them this 99% survival rate, but you should also be scared and don't hug your kids and stuff like that, yeah, the neuroses is gonna kick in and people are gonna want to escape that. The CDC noted that after declining 4.1% from 2017 to 2018, the number of overdose deaths increased 18.2% from the 12 months ending in June 2019. Drug overdose fatalities were already on the rise before the start of 2020, but accelerated once the pandemic struck, the CDC says. Okay, they didn't put an R there. If you're not watching and just listening, it says stuck, but I knew the word was struck. They just didn't put the R. Synthetic opioids have been the primary source of the increases in overdose deaths, the agency continued, and that the 12-month count of synthetic opioid deaths increased 38.4% from the 12 months ending in June 2019 compared to the 12 months ending in May 2020. And I'm telling you, opioids, pharmaceutical drugs, like doctors, those who subscribe, who prescribe these things. I have a very personal story when it comes to that, because it was I genuinely believe my mother's addiction to opioids did not help her when it came to returning to a sense of normalcy after a bout with cancer. And I genuinely believe it contributed in part to her death. And just imagining other people in these situations, we really screwed ourselves. We really, as a nation, put ourselves in the most vulnerable position, because our freedom has always been our Achilles heel to an extent. Not saying not saying I am for subjugation, but at the same time, man, this is nonsense. The CDC recommends expanding the use of naloxone, a medication that treats overdoses during emergencies, and that people should take overdose prevention classes. And you'd like to think that the overarching goal would be, particularly of our elected class and our elected officials, would be trying to ensure that we had a world that people wouldn't feel a need to escape from. But over the past year, definitely, that's actually, they long before that, but it just went into overdrive this year when it comes to the powers that be really maneuvering that power and ultimately using their henchmen within the elected class and the elite class to just wreak havoc on people's lives. I genuinely don't believe that the number would be as high if they didn't kick this all into place. And is it that 300,000, quote unquote 300,000 deaths of CV? No, but it's still, from just from sheer circumstances, that those 81,000 deaths are even more tragic because they are insanely preventable. But either ways, guys, I wanted to talk about the stimulus check. I know a lot of people, the stimulus, not just a check, but how there's this, oh my goodness, how could they do this? How could they do the exact same thing that they've been doing our entire lives? Huh? Weird, right? So as far as the channel goes, there's gonna be a lull in content for maybe the next 2 weeks, and that's because I'm going to be first and foremost setting up the join and creating a members tab, as well as getting a ton of stuff out for Patreon. I'm not stopping making content. I'm just, as far as uploads go, and this has been going on for a while actually, but it's really going to kick in now, for particularly over the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be doing a lot more content focused on, people who are actually paying me. So, and that content will slowly begin to trickle out towards, the rest of you guys. So, yeah. I think we're good. I think we're good here. All the internet stuff. If you like this, also like, dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice. And want to get videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring. And YouTube and Bitchute and like aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications. Get something from Teespring. Check me out on Patreon as well. And links in the description. And speak. Let me know. What do you guys think in the comments? All of it. All of it's ridiculous. It is all, in the air. But fellow brothers, do what you do best. That's remain calm. Just move and just march forward. Let me know what you guys thinking in the comments. Until the next one.